Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today I finally get to give you the full skinny on Nintendo's latest Wii U endeavour, Star Fox Zero. To say this game had a bit of a rocky start to begin with is kind of an understatement to say the least. From the clumsy initial reveal to the worries about the control scheme, you'd be forgiven for assuming that the result of all this effort would be akin to an R-Wing crashing into the side of a mountain. Thankfully, that's not the case at all. Instead, we're graced with a superb space adventure that, whilst not entirely faultless, is something Nintendo and Platinum Games can unashamedly be very proud of. As far as the story goes, it's basically the same thing as Star Fox 64, and by extension the same thing as the original Star Fox or Star Wing, depending on where you come from. Star Wing for me. There's a lot more flesh to the proceedings this time though. The universe feels much more expansive, and the lore seems far deeper set than in previous instances. The same branching path system returns from these games as well, but the first time you play through you will be limited to what paths you can take. Once you've made your first run, however, the sky's the limit. Pun intended. And you'll be able to enjoy all the multiple exits your heart desires. It'll take a keen eye and a lateral thinking process to discover them all, but once you do, oh lordy is it satisfying. You don't even have to do anything in a consistent run anymore, you can just jump into any level you wish and see what secrets it holds. Of course you can still do the traditional style run of your own volition, and the game will try to guide you to doing so, but if you just happen to want to find that secret X-Entertainer, go for it, dude. This is where I plan to talk about the game's controls, but I've already done that in another video, so I'd basically just be repeating myself. If you're in any doubt, click that card or the link in the description to see for yourself, and for the lazier of you all, they're fine. Actually, to be honest, they're pretty damn good when you get used to them. But of course, Cloudy McFox and his zoo-themed chums aren't always in an R-Wing. You've also got the funky new walker to play with, which adds a surprising amount of variety to the gameplay. You can even use it in levels where it's totally impractical, but entirely hilarious. The freedom that Nintendo have allowed is one of the biggest plus points this game has. Not only just the walker though, you've also got the Landmaster, the new Gravmaster, and of course the Gyro Wing. This is the biggest step away from the original Star Fox formula, if you like, and it provides a really fresh and different angle on things. It's slow, it's stealthy, and it's probably riding on the back of the current fashion trend of drones. There's only one level really that takes full advantage of this vehicle, but it does so very nicely. It's a pretty pedestrian experience compared to the other courses, but the fact that it stands alone means that it doesn't feel like it gets in the way of the rest of the game. It certainly never outstays its welcome. This game also isn't really the longest you'll ever play. I mean, if you were really super dedicated, you could probably unlock all the levels within about a day. You could certainly get to the final boss. Having said that, there's still plenty more on offer than simply getting from A to B. Every single course is chock-a-block full of secrets, medals, and other collectibles that give you the incentive you really shouldn't need to play through them all again. If the main game still isn't enough for you though, you can always dip your proverbial toe in the training mode. Bear with me. Despite being called a training mode, this area of the game really is a challenge mode disguised as a training mode. Yes, you get told all the controls, but if you already know them, you'll breeze through that part in no time at all, and that's when the fun really begins. Do you think that counter stops at its limit? Guess again. You can keep going and amassing the highest score possible long after the initial limit is reached, and it adds a real challenge for the high score junkies out there. There's also the new co-op mode, which whilst a lot of fun and is actually a really good way to break people into the new control scheme, it's not really got any legs to it. It's fun for a few missions, but there's no real additional drive if you already played through a mission solo. It's good and it deserves to be in the game, but we really would have liked a bit more to it. It's going to be little more than a novelty for most people. Speaking of novelties, Amiibo. How do and why? As previously discussed in our video about the co-op this game has, the Falco and Fox Amiibo unlock special R-Wings within the game. Fox allows you to fly around in the classic polygonal fighter from the SNES original, and Falco lets you pilot the Black R-Wing, which is super powerful but also super vulnerable. This is yet another great way to mix things up and provide a spot more challenge for those that seek it. And yes, you can unlock both of these without the use of Amiibo, so rest easy anti-Amiiboids. Star Fox Zero may not inherently be the prettiest game in the world, sacrificing good looks for performance, but the mechanics of the game more than make up for these graphical limitations. That's why we're proud to give Star Fox Zero an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect, and the similarities to Star Fox 64 are arguably too many for nearly 20 years of progress, but it's still an absolute standout title. Simply put, it's the Star Fox 64 sequel we've been waiting nearly 2 decades for. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you find out whether that subscribe button's had its... And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. So rest easy, anti-CD. So rest easy, anti-Amiibo boy. But of course, Cloudy McFox and his zoo-themed chums. But of course, Cloudy McFox and his zoo-themed chums aren't always in the R-Wing. But of course, Cloudy McFox and his zoo-themed